Just a very quick explanation. The next chapter, 36, Okra Diet for All, is about real estate fraud and corruption in Canada. But if you are robbed of your home and wind up homeless, or if you are a victim of a system that robs you of over $500,000, excuse me, that affects your health. And that kind of abuse is rampant in Canada. And I lost everything trying to get human rights for real estate protection, for spousal protection, etc., etc., etc. But I include that in my okra diet because if you are a victim of any kind of abuse and the police don't help you, the government doesn't help you, the member of parliament doesn't help you, and the laws make the crime legal, and the lawyers rip you off lying to you, and you can't even file in court because the court system is completely corrupt, you're not going to be very healthy, okay? That's why that's included. The subject of this is real estate, greed, and corruption, Canadian style. People and media just don't get it in Ontario, and every province in Canada except for 3. Anyone can steal your property in secret, commit fraud in secret, and it's perfectly legal. This causes the loss of homes, especially seniors, and nobody gives a damn. Secret filing on property goes back to Roman times and has no place in a democratic society. It is banned in England, United States, Europe, and every country but Canada. That makes Canada a very dangerous place to either buy property or invest in. Secret filing was banned in Alberta 1985, Manitoba 1988, and 1989 in Saskatchewan. This province has by far the best protection for registered owners, making it almost impossible to commit fraud, steal your land, or rob a spouse of their matrimonial home. As of 1989, a lot of theft went on prior to that, not just to Native Indians, okay, people? Ontario is by far the worst. Ontario makes fraud and property theft legal. Our court system, in Ontario particularly, is so corrupt, by the time you discover the truth, it is too late. You will spend tens of thousands, years, and never get justice. That is exactly what happened to my mother, 98, died with a broken heart, and me at 76 made homeless as a direct result of secret filing in Ontario. Anyone can put their name on title to your home and property in secret without you as a registered owner ever being notified. Wake up, people! Anyone can sever joint tenancy on any of your properties, whether it be a business or otherwise, including your matrimonial home, in secret, without you as registered owner ever being notified. I tried to get secret filing banned and came so close, taking 4 years of research and most of my life savings to gather the evidence, including my mother's savings. Well, hers were gone a long time ago. This is what was left of mine. Despite being homeless, severely handicapped with Parkinsonism disease, in honor of my dead mother, Trahan-Upchan, I, handicapped with Parkinsonism disease, gave $70,000. Yes, facing being homeless, it was more important to me to get human rights than it was to get myself a fancy residence. So I invested my life savings with a lawyer to file an affidavit against the Ontario government, and he had promised my dying mother and me that no matter what happened, he would never abandon us and would fight for our rights. Suddenly, when I began to run out of money, he fired me. He just shut the case down. closed it, and put my case and everything in my life in a box. Yes, he fired me. That affidavit, $10,000 went to a pro bono case, which I'm not going to talk about now, and I have no problem with that. I don't want to jeopardize that case. But $60,000 of my money went to do this. From the day I hired him, the first thing I said to him was, I'm not interested in going after the thief, my brother. I want human rights for everybody. I want to go after the law. Fighting one thief is stupid. And I researched thousands and thousands of cases going back 100 years in Canada and Supreme Court of Canada. Nobody had the goddamn brain to go after the law. They all went after the one thief. Well, hey people, your property's gone. It's finished. The money's gone. Everything's gone. And you're fighting to get it back and it's been sold to somebody else. Are you kidding me? And the title is already gone? I mean, try and get it back. Anyway, I know of some cases where they got the property back, but they had to give half of the money to the person who had committed the fraud. They had to pay them for half the value of the house and property to the person who had committed the fraud. How does that grab you? Yeah, that's greed and corruption in Canada. Anyway, so suddenly he fired me. This affidavit had cost me $60,000, and I was this close. If it had been filed within a couple of days, I would have won my case. I had that much evidence. And he didn't give a shit. And I got nothing but terminated and my file closed. He turned on me like a callous monster, knowing this would sabotage both my cases. He didn't care about the millions and the human rights that would go down the tubes. No. He completely sabotaged, knowing I would lose by default, one, against the affidavit and lawsuit against the Ontario government to ban secret filing, and two, the fraud case against my brother who stole title of our home, embezzled the state funds, committed fraud, made legal and possible as a direct result of secret filing, without our, as registered owners, ever being notified, which is legal. Yes, fraud and corruption in Canada is legal. How could any lawyer take the life savings of a handicapped homeless senior like me, 76, grieving the loss of my mother and my home, 3/4 of my furniture, well, all my furniture, actually. I had to lose all my furniture and all of my prized possessions. I gave away to people that matter to me, and the rest I gave to St. Vincent de Paul. It's painful. I cannot describe to you what I went through. And he fired me, knowing that in doing so I was guaranteed to lose both cases by default. He knew I have neither the health or the money to start all over again. No lawyer could pick up where he left off. Not after the work that we had done. No lawyer is capable of doing it. At first, I was so devastated, I tried to kill myself. My boyfriend, Dan McIsaac, for 32 years, stopped me with brute force, locking me in my bedroom until I came to my senses. All of which triggered a paralyzing Parkinsonism attack, and I was immobile for weeks. Then in a vision, I saw all those millions of Canadians in jeopardy of losing their homes, and that fighting for fundamental human rights to ban secret filing was a cause worth fighting for. Slowly, barely able to function, I worked day and night, sleepless nights, flashback nightmares, in pain, in agony, crippling paralysis attacks. I typed, begging by email, writing and by mail, and to over 50 different lawyers and advocacy groups in Canada, coast to coast, members of Parliament, Premier of Ontario, Prime Minister, and all rejected me. All refused to lift one finger to help me whatsoever. Well, there's one company, JusticeNet in Barrie, who it's a new organization, and they have neither the funds nor the expertise to help me. They were the only one that took the time to even email me back with some compassion. None of the others gave a shit. Fuck you, bitch. That's the attitude. Anyway, I will continue to fight until I die to get secret filing banned, to get the world to know the truth. Since I tried and failed to get Canadians to care, I guess my only option is to attack real estate investment and brokers who may care. I'll put our story out on social media, YouTube, and keep sending the media the truth of our story. And I'm hoping that someday before I die, the story gets public support and force our government to ban secret filing. Seniors and women are, in fact, the most vulnerable. But I could not even get the feminists organization to care. So Mom, married 61 years to a violent, abusive monster, dies at 98, and I, 76, have lost everything because of secret filing in Ontario, and most of Canada is legal. If an American buys property here, they have no protection either. New York, California, Michigan, all you millionaires got money or are investing in properties in Canada, and particularly Ontario and Toronto, guess what? Fraud is so easy, it'll make your head spin. And I happen to be gifted at research, thousands and thousands of laws going back 100 years in Ontario, and I couldn't find one sentence, not one line, not one word of protection for registered ownership in Ontario. I don't know about the rest of the province. Secret filing is okay in every province but Alberta, Manitoba, and Saskatchewan. But in Ontario, there isn't even one word of protection. I think there's some protection in Quebec. Secret filing is legal, but I think you have to, they can file in secret. I think, I'm pretty sure they could file in secret, because I had a man who was a manager of a very large bank, and somehow I wound up with him in Montreal. Oh, I know, it was the Northern Credit Union. Their head office is in Montreal. And he was so upset by what I told him that he did some research. And he said, it actually is still legal in Quebec, but it wasn't previously. Somewhere in French law, you could not sever joint tenancy without notice. You could sever it, whether you had spousal support or not, but you couldn't do it without notice. And he said it's kind of open, he said, because once English Canada took over, secret filing became legal, so he honestly didn't know what was going on in his province. And because I researched the law, there isn't any way when you buy a property and your lawyer registered you as a registered owner that you can put anything into the law to protect you from anybody taking title or putting their name on title or putting in a mortgage. 100 mortgages in 2005 in Ontario wound up on property homes in secret, and they didn't even file for the mortgage. And it turned out the mortgages were illegal. So some kind of insurance paid them off. Oh yeah, by the way, you got insurance, property protection insurance, people? Yeah. If you want to know why your rates are going up, there's a good reason. Anyway, nobody ever bothered to do anything about the law. Yeah, welcome to Canada. Anyway, I'm so off track here. Anyway. Oh yeah, and by the way, here's really interesting. I love this one. If you're a Russian and you buy land in Canada, the federal law does not allow for secret filing. It is only legal if you're a Canadian or an American. Boom, boom. How does that grab you, folks? Well, welcome to Greed and Corruption Canadian Style. I am the author, Trudi Trahan-Upchan. I am the founder of http://rightsforall-news.webs.com, restricted language, not for children. It is the full-on biography of my story, and it is restricted. The language is not for children, and there are a couple of nudes and things. So you really, I'm just saying, I don't want to do anything that's harmful to children. And what about my lawyer, you may ask? Well, Mom and I had worshipped Trent Faldine as our hero and savior. The moral of this part of my story is never worship anything born on this planet. Yeah. Welcome to Canada, people. Greed and corruption, Canadian style.